More deep spit. All right, so today we're gonna talk about manhood and what is manhood and how to establish your manhood and how to reestablish your manhood. So manhood is a very controversial topic because all the people in the manosphere, all they talk about is women, and women are like the least important part of the manhood thing. Because if you're doing your thing as a man, like women just naturally come to you. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like this cool phenomenon where they can smell a man doing man things and behaving like a man. And trust me, that's all you gotta do is be a man. And everything in life falls into place. But the first step of being a man is you gotta know thyself. You have to know thyself because without knowing thyself, you can't get to the next level of manhood. See, let me just teach you something. Manhood is about establishing your freedom. You gotta get freedom if you want to be a man. A man back in the day, they would rather go into the unknown territory of the woods, of the frontier, than deal with being controlled. That's how man is. Man's just a natural roamer. He wants to be free. Just like everything in life, pretty much for the most part, wants to be free. They want to be able to do what they want to do. And to be able to do what you want to do, you got to first know thyself. Because once you know thyself, you understand your territory. See, man is constantly in a battle of expanding territory. That's all we want to do is expand territory. When it finds something to take claims to it, it becomes our territory. That's how man operates. It's just the way that we are. I don't know why we do it. Well, I do know why we do it. It's just the principles of fucking physics and thermodynamics. Things that are hot want to expand and go out. So if you're hot, if you're on fire, if you're moving, you got momentum, you're going to be moving a lot. You're going to be doing a lot. And so that's the key to being a man is knowing thyself so you can establish thy freedom. Because if you know thyself, you have now taken control of you as a man. You have established your manhood. And establishing your manhood is by establishing principles that you live by and a code of values. If you don't have a code of values and principles, then you're not really a man. That's what I count manhood is. You better have some core values and some principles you operate your life by. And the first thing that you do to establish this principles of foundational manhood is to educate yourself, man. You got to free your mind. You got to expand your brain. If you don't expand your mind, expand your brain, you're not going to go anywhere in this life. The more knowledge you can accumulate by talking, by reading, by observing, the easier it's going to be for you to understand thyself because you can understand yourself in relation to things around you. And by understanding the things in relation around you, you can understand how to expand your freedom. So say, for example, in your set around you, all you have is a pencil and a notebook. You don't have anything else. Well, you have established your territory, which is you. And the only thing that you have to your territory is a pencil notebook. You know what you do? You use that pencil and that notebook to the best of your ability to expand your manhood. So if you got to write letters to people, if you got to write notes to yourself, if you got to write a book, whatever you can do to be able to start to leverage your manhood into other opportunities into life. And that's the first step. So once you educate yourself, you can then start to build yourself because you'll be able to establish some principles. You get to read about yourself, observe yourself by taking in that information and by putting out information, outputs. Like that's all manhood is. It's just input outputs. Are you doing the right inputs every day to give you the best outputs? That's what you got to worry about. See, a lot of people worry about all these other things about the world. Don't worry about those things. Worry about what you can put into your territory and what you're getting out of it. That's the way I kind of look at life, man. What am I getting for my energy and time that I'm putting into things? If there's no like established way to acquire freedom by doing that, then shit, what am I doing this for? It's stupid. And that's what a lot of things people, a big thing men have to start to realize is when you're in a hopeless, when you're in a controlled situation where you can't expand further out, where you're kind of stuck. And that's what really hurts people. You don't want to be stuck. You want to be able to constantly expand your territory. And then comes the second part of manhood, which is establishing territory. So you got to be able to establish territory in order to claim yourself as a man. So you can't be fucking a girl in your mama's house. This is not a good look. You're not going to like it. You can't be... You want to have your own space to operate. Because without your own space to operate, then you don't have anything that you can really do. Like you're always taking in other inputs that you don't control, and you want to try to limit that as much as possible. Because by limiting what other inputs are coming into your system, which is what your manhood has established, which is your territory, and you create these systems. By establishing these systems and you're having other people put inputs that you can't control, that fucks up your outputs. And then you get bad outputs. And that's one of the things with people when you have bad people around you. You don't want bad people around you because that gives you bad outputs. You want to have better outputs. So have better inputs. And the only way to get better inputs is by establishing your mind, knowing thyself, and your immediate territory, controlling that to the best of your ability. So you might be with a roommate right now. Figure out how to get from that situation with a roommate to a situation when you're living by yourself in a studio or something. And if you live in a studio and you live in an apartment, you got all these neighbors, try to figure out how do I get to the position where I can get myself a little house or something. And then how can I get myself a neighborhood? How can I build other establishments for myself that I can be able to be myself in? That's really what your goal is, man. You're just trying to establish territory. And the last part of this important monologue about your manhood is how to reestablish your manhood. See, sometimes we get knocked off by girls, by money, by friends, bad business deals that go bad. There's a lot of things that can knock us off and get us off track of our manhood. But your job as a man is to reestablish your manhood every time that occurs. You can't let anything stop you from establishing your manhood and then reestablishing your manhood. Because by reestablishing your manhood, even though you might have made a fuck up, you corrected the system back to its productive, normal baseline, which is what you're trying to operate. Keep it at a nice, neutral, nice baseline that's steadily going up. You don't want all these ebbs and fucking huge flows. Like, those are going to come, but your job is to mitigate that as much as possible and keep everything slow and steady grinding up. And the only way you can do that is when things come at you, when waves hit you, you got to take it, absorb it, learn from it, then recorrect course and get back on your thing. Never let a fucking fall off be too long. Every time you fall up, you should be getting up. There should never be a time where you get put down and you stay down. You should always be trying to hustle to find a new way to get back up. That's the secret to fucking being a man. Never fucking be defeated. Because listen, there's no way to lose at this game of life. It's impossible to lose because the game is played every single day of the hour. So at any point in time, you can decide, I'm not going to be that fucking loser anymore. I'm going to do something in my life and take drastic actions, take big risk to get me to a situation where I can live better. Because that's how you establish your manhood. You got to take risks. That's the other part of the equation people don't want to talk about. See, no risk, no reward. If you're not willing to bet something, then shit, you're not going to get nothing. It's cold. You're not a child. You're not a girl. You're not a dog. Nobody's just going to pick you up and fucking brush you off and say, here you go, you can live here for free and just love life. And if they do, there's some fucking requirements that come with it that come at the cost of your manhood. Do you want that? No, you want to live free. You want to be able to do what you want to do, say what you want to say, and live how you want to fucking live. But in order to do that, know thyself, establish your manhood, which is establish your territory, then reestablish your manhood, which means either further your territory, get to know yourself better, or fix whatever the fuck just happened that went bad and get back to fucking business like normal. Never fall off. And if you do fall off, get yourself back up. A fall off is only a fall off if you keep falling. If you stop yourself from falling, you get yourself back up and you dust yourself and you keep moving, it's called a success story. It's called being a man. So I hope that helps some of y'all. Best of luck to you. And yeah, establish your manhood, reestablish your manhood.